Welcome back, traders, to this installment on swing trading gold. I know I've been gone a little while, apologies for that, but we're back now, and we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different assets that I have been looking at whilst I've been away. So with nothing more to say or to do, we're just going to get straight into it, right? So first things first is, this is the analysis that I did before I pulled my disappearing act. So let's get rid of this for a minute. Okay, so this is the analysis that I did, right? And back then I was saying that I believe that price was maybe going to come down to around this zone over here and then shoot all the way back up and then hit the $100 mark, so 3,100. I believe that market was going to get there. And for the most part, in my trade, managing a small account, the plan was going fantastic. Then I did something incredibly stupid. Do you want to know what that was? I decided to increase my lot size. And when I did increase my lot size, what happened was market decided to turn around. I was buying, by the way. So market came down, right? Shook me out, and the trade size that I had was large enough, right, that if my stop was triggered, it would have meant that I cannot do gold anymore until I add more funds into that particular trading account. And obviously that particular trading account that I'm in, I'm literally trying to move away from it, right? So the whole idea was, it's either I was going to grow the account, right? I was either going to grow it, or I was going to blow it up and then move over to the account that I'm working with now, because I think that's the account that I actually need, the one that I'm working with now, as opposed to the CFD one that I was doing. So obviously it's basically the account is blown all the way down to about, I don't know what, 30 quid, something like that. So yeah, so we're not going to be managing a small account with gold anymore. It's important I come over and tell you this thing, right? It's important that I do tell you, just so that you know that I'm not really trying to tell you guys any lies, because I did say I am not a financial advisor and I'm not giving you financial advice. And these are the types of mistakes that gets made in the journey to excellence, in terms of having a really good understanding of markets and markets behavior. So that's that done. So with all of that said and done, now we're just going to look at what took place last week, right? So we're going to forget most of the stuff that's happening here, and we're going to look at what took place last week, and that we're going to use that to help us kind of figure it out. So this over here right now is today, Monday, right? So I need to find, actually I think I'll use these ones. So that's Monday. Let's lock that in here. Let's unlock this. And that was Tuesday. Okay. So, and also we've got the volume profile in here as well. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that as well. So we're going to be integrating what we're seeing here into the future of what could take place maybe this week, right? Possible what could take place this week. And remember, like I always say, not financial advice or giving you financial advice, purely my opinion. You then decide what makes sense and what doesn't. So first things first is we're going to lock in the weekly low, which we got on a Wednesday, and then we're going to lock in the weekly high, which you got on a Tuesday, right? So let's just add weekly high, and let's just add weekly low. Okay, and these are the levels that we have in question right now. These are the levels of interest, right? If price goes below that, we're looking for sells. If price goes above this, we're looking for buys, right? Now, this is currently what we're working with. So price is closer to the weekly low than it is to the weekly high. Okay, In my opinion, I don't think it's coming down in this direction at all. And the reason why I say this is because of this low value node that we have right here. So I'm just going to draw out this low value node, right? Now what you will notice with volume profile, if you decide to apply that to your charts, okay, so the one that I'm using now instinctively comes as part of an indicator, so I just place it there. I don't have to do much work. If you're using the free version of volume profile, fixed volume profile, range volume profile, all the different volume profiles that they are, you're going to have to manually draw them on your chart at your specific windows, right? This just makes life a little bit easier for me, right? But all of them are doing exactly the same thing. It's just that some will be on this side and will cover a broader range. Some will just cover depending on how you got it set up. So I can have this to be applied on my chart daily, which is pointless, right? It's too much noise. I could choose to have it applied weekly, which is okay, but I believe it's too much noise also, right? Or it could be applied monthly, which I think is the best one. And this is the one I'm using right here. So it just gives me the volume profile of the previous month, and we use that moving forward. Yeah, we use that going forward, and it just kind of works like that. Now we're still in April, so we don't have a new one formed. And even if we was to look at the volume profile of the previous month for this month over here, just to give you a bit of an idea as to how I use volume profile, okay, if you was to just kind of just cover up this area right here, right? So what we're doing with the volume profile marker is we're just marking out the low value nodes areas, right? The low value nodes areas, you can just choose them any direction where you find them, okay? So it could be around the point of control, which is this little dotted line over here, okay? Or it could be anywhere outside of the high value area. So this area right here will be considered the high value area, right? Just because point of control, this is where all the actions taking place, and anything outside of that is the low value areas. These low value nodes that I'm drawing at the moment can be picked out all throughout the volume profile. They can be picked out all throughout the volume profile, so it's not on the outside, on the inside, it's all over. You can just pick them all out, right? And what it basically tells you is where there's nothing going on with price, where price is basically doing nothing, right? And these areas are important for us. Why? Because it shows us areas where price might want to bounce from, right? So that's why we want to be kind of focused on that's why I'm focused on low value node areas, supposing to the higher ones. So these ones right here, which is the high value node areas, you see that there's a lot of things taking place in those areas, right? And it goes all across the board. But when you get to low value node areas, it's either price is bouncing from it or price is blasting straight through it, right? So for me, I treat those as the actual genuine resistance and support levels, right? So I pointed at this level over here. So this was a low value node area, and we could see that price came into over here. We have another low value node area again. Price quickly moved away from it, right? And then moved right through it again, okay? Now this low value area over here doesn't correspond to a low value area in this new volume profile, but however, there is a potential low value node area right here, right? So if I draw another little box in that area, I'm going to explain why I'm telling you all this in a moment. But first I need to kind of like just warm you up. I have been gone a while, so you know, at least let me just warm you up. So if you're watching this video again, you'll be like, oh, okay, he came and he dropped something that is of interest. Okay. So we've got a little area right here. Now in this area right here, what do we notice? We notice that price tapped into it and it's now running off, right? Now, this is why I've been screaming that I really love this tool when I was doing videos not too long ago as to how amazing the volume profile is. Now, at the same time, we have another volume profile up here, and we can see price. We can see price has come into it, moved away. It's come into it again, moved away, and it's now kind of hovered near it, and it's moving away, right? And we don't really have any major low value nodes areas, not major ones of importance. So for example, if I show you this one over here, which is another small node area, if I show that one to you, you can see we have prices going into it, right? These are the low value node areas, and then we have another one over here, and nothing has been created. So you would normally mark this out. You would mark out these areas, right? And then to see what price is going to do and how it's going to do it. So in my opinion, looking at this as the start of the week right now, I do not believe that price is going to fly down. And if it did flew down, right, I would be looking for my sales below this level right here based on the volume profile, right? So based on the volume profile, this is where I'll be looking for my sales, right? I'll be looking for my sales under the volume profile. So I want market to come all the way in, close below, right? Possibly go back down even further, and then come back for a potential retest, and then I will consider selling from this location downwards if that was to happen, right? At the same time, because obviously today is also Monday, right? So you might want to get in a trade on a Monday, or you just might want to wait, depending on how you actually do things, right? But because today is Monday, I'll be like, okay, if I want to get in, I could maybe put in a buy here. So I could maybe put in a buy at this location right here, right? I could maybe cover this level over here. That's my potential stop, right? I could use the volume profile and set TP to this zone right here, because this is now ranging. So this whole situation over here is now ranging. So this is where another thing where volume profile really comes in handy when it comes to ranges. Let me see, what do I have? Is this one? Actually, okay, fixed range. Okay, so let's just say if I was to do this, so we're gonna put a fixed range volume profile down, right? We're gonna cover last week, and what we can see already, right, is that we're looking for buys from this location down here, and we're looking for sales from this location over here. Now the time being 6:18, right? So chances are this video you probably might see it closer to 8 in the morning than where the time is now, just based on how long it's going to take me to kind of put everything together. You could want to look for buys in this location over here to ride to the upside. Obviously it carries its own certain degree of risk, but you could do that, right? So these are the calls that I'll be putting out for this video, right, based on what I think gold is going to do. And if you are following along, then by all means, and you do like the content, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like, right? So this is what I think is taking place. Gold is now going into a range. We can see the area where it could be bouncing from. If you see price up here and it starts to reject downwards, then you might want to think about putting in a sell. So I've kind of helped you play this range, if it continues to play out as a range, as to what you could do and how you could do it. So with all of that said and done, I will see you all on the next one.